So everybody likes a Titan fuel tank in their truck. Who doesn't, you know? The bigger the tank, especially you long haul guys, you know, love them. FASS Fuel has designed specifically for a Titan tank one of their fuel filtration systems. So I'm going to show it to you. So you guys that have these big Titan tanks, you now can put a better quality FASS fuel system in it. So the first thing you got to do when you do this, you got to drop that Titan tank a little bit. And make sure you always put some anti-seize back on these bolts, because you know, these frame rails, especially on these Chevys or Fords or whatever, you know, there's always rusty down under here. We don't get it as bad as they do it, you know, around the Great Lakes, but we get it bad. Then what you're after is you want to get this fuel water separator out of here. So the first thing you're going to do is take out the housing. You don't have to take the tank. I'm showing you how to do this the easy way. You don't have to completely take the tank out, but you do have to drop it about 2 inches. So drop that 2 inches, then undo this housing and get this out of the way, the bottom part of that, take that out, and then you'll be able to reach up through that hole now, and there's two 13mm bolts holding that whole housing on the top, and some hoses. Undo those hoses, undo those two 13mm. There's one of them, you got two of them that look like that. Then, because with that filter out of there, you can finagle this out of here. I'm trying to show you how to do this without dropping the tank. So you turn this sideways, and it's a tight fit, but it'll come out of there. There you go. You got it almost. So what you're going to do is, when it's up top, you're going to turn it like this, and then it'll come out like that. So these are the two bolts that are holding it in. You're going to take this off, because you're going to reinstall this as the sensor. So all you had up in there was the two bolts that held it on, the quick couplers for the hoses, and a harness to undo this. And you can reach everything up in there. It's tight, but you can do that. Then you pull this off of you're going to discard that fuel filter housing. Here's the new FASS filter housing that they've designed with this bracket. You're going to install your fuel water separator on this. And you got to get it in the right clock position. And then you'll have the same inlet and outlet hoses on there. The nice thing about this, the way I'm showing it, I know we've got a jack here, you know, a nice tranny or a gas tank jack, but you do it yourselfers. The way I do this at my house, if you, without dropping the whole tank, is, first off, most important thing is get most of the fuel out of the tank. Don't do this on a gas tank that's full, because, you know, gas weighs about 7.5 pounds a gallon, and if you got a 35, 40 gallon tank, what is that Titan tank?
Ooh, I think it's up in the 50s, 55 gallons?
You know,
they're big.
You'd think I'd know that, but I don't. I think it's 44 gallons or something like that.
I'm not sure on specifics
either. So do the math. The thing will weigh a ton. So you want to do this when it's dang near empty. Then you can get it up on jack stands, or you can even do it on the ground with a couple of floor jacks, and then you can lower the tank because it's not full. It's a lot easier to do it that way. So this is not going, I know these holes are, you know, these holes are the same distance, but this is actually going to mount like this on a bracket on the frame rail. And we'll show you how to do that now. So we've got this out of the way. We can go ahead and put the tank back up, Jim.
Yep, we can push the tank back up.
Let's go ahead and put the tank back up on it.
Just go up and over that. Like that.
While that's out, where that gets coated in salt,
just a little bit of anti-seize.
That way, if anybody else ever has to do this,
See, that's a considerate mechanic.
they don't have a bad day.
You know how you can tell a considerate mechanic? Ladies out there, if you're looking to marry a man that's considerate, find out if he puts anti-seize on his bolt. There's an indicator. We've added hoses. It's hard to show. You've got some hoses that come in the kit. And you're just going to attach those to the lines. I wish I could show you everything about it, but I can't because, you know, the tank's in the way, but it's really easy. So you've got the feed to the injectors. This is the feed from the tank. And this is the return from the injectors. And you want to attach all these, you know, to the new filter housing. And then here is your harness that we pulled out that will also attach to the water sensor.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can see our connections in here.
You look, so the little billet one right
turn. The blue one is the draw from the tank, and the yellow is your feed to this injection pump up in the front. So that you clip in and then you just roll them out over the frame rail. No sharp point, no sharp edges. Don't pinch them, don't kink them, that kind of thing. Just keep it nice and smooth in the transition.
Excellent advice. Yeah. Except for me getting a piece of rust in my eyeball.
It's really not that bad.
It's a really pretty simple install. That's the thing I'll say about FASS, all their products, and I don't get paid by them to tell you this, okay? So let's just put that out there. They're well thought out. They're not only a good product, but it's well thought out. I mean, it comes from a technician's point of view.
It's an experiment from the guy at FASS, and we had to modify his bracket a little bit. Took 1/4 of an inch off the end because this truck has these step pockets in the bed, and it had a bracket in the way, so that wouldn't fit in between the frame.
Yeah,
rail.
but you get a nice bracket. You might have to do a little fab on the bracket, but a hacksaw and a grinder, and 5 minutes you're good.
5 minutes, you're ready to go.
Now remember, the compassionate mechanic always puts a little what?
Anti-seize.
Little lube on his bolt.
Especially in the northern states because of salt and brine, all the stuff on the frame rail.
Yeah.
It's already, all the white buildup you see is corrosion starting. This is gonna look weird with all the extensions, but it'll be fine. So you snake this. Let's fill the line out.
Now where we've attached that, just to make it real clear for you, is the bed support off of this bracket. So it's real easy. The bolt's already there. You don't have to drill a hole or anything. It's this front bed, the very front bed support. This support here is for the cab. So it's the very front bed support, not the cab support. Easy, one bolt.
So now we grab our filter element, bolt that up there.
Let's do it.
All right.
So it comes with the hardware, and this is where it's always, be nice to your fellow mechanics around you, because this is when two hands are better than one set of them. Because one guy can hold the thing up there,
And then line it up.
line it up for him, while the other guy kind of finds the hole and
Come
does,
down.
does what he needs to do. You got that one?
I got that one started.
There you go.
And then you can, it's all adjustable, up, down,
So you can
back
slide it.
and forward.
There's enough room in there to slide it back and forth to find out what it is.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to hook up a couple hoses.
With this kit, where you're moving it from inside the hole in the tank to outside the frame rail, FASS sends you this pigtail.
So this wiring harness ain't long enough.
No, so it's not long enough to reach the new location of the filters.
Oh.
So
Shoot, I'm trying to do that.
you
Okay.
can try and stretch it. I don't know that it'll
No,
go very far.
I can tell, but looking at it right now, it ain't gonna make
But
it.
the way I do this, just where you're doing it quick and you want to make sure your wires are in the same spot, I always do one at a time. So I'll start at one end of the plug, however you can do it to keep track. Just start at one end and cut that.
Well, I'm gonna give you a better way.
Okay.
Or maybe, I don't want to say better, because you're awesome. What I would do is just cut them off, but leave yourself enough so you can see what the heck is going on there. Just like that. Now this is your road map. There's your road map. Your road map is right there in front of you. Don't flip this over. There's a big difference. You're gonna have it backwards, you go that way. But that's gonna be the way you go. The first wire you're gonna do is that gonna be the black one. And you got plenty of links. So you're gonna take that black one, you're gonna put it on here. That's your road map. And then once you're done, you double check that and you're good to go. I'm gonna let the master here, Jake is so good, I'm gonna let him finish this up. And now, other thing that we wanna make sure we do is use weather tight connectors. Let me see the type of connectors they give you.
No, they actually didn't send me any connectors. So
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't see any in their kit.
I bet you when FASS sees this video, and they're gonna watch this video, because this is the very first tank, they're gonna decide to put how many heat shrink.
Yeah.
We're gonna need 7 heat shrink connectors for that.
Yeah.
Car mechanics, electricians, all that out there are gonna have 50 different opinions about this. I'm gonna give you mine, and I'm gonna give you the reason for my opinion, based in almost 50 years of dealing with crap. And so I've tried to eliminate most of the crap in my life. And this is crap, okay? This type of connector, where it's just, you trim the wire, you put it on there, and you crimp it, that's crap. I don't even use, now when can you use those? You can use those in an environment like under the dash, it's never gonna have any moisture. you could do that, but I wouldn't do that. If you own some of these, red, blue, yellow, and they're just crimp and they got no heat sink on them, I'd say throw them away. I don't know what they're good for, but they're not good for any electrical work I'm doing. Then your next step above that is something like this, where you have a crimp connector. Now sometimes these come with actually a bit of solder in them, so when you heat them up to shrink them, they'll actually solder the connection. You know, some guys have an opinion about soldering and on top of crimping. I think crimping is fine. Soldering, and especially in tight places around a fuel tank, maybe not the best way to go, because you're generating a lot of heat and you don't want an ignition source up against diesel or any kind of diesel fuel. So you're going to trim back your wire, and the first wire we're going to do is the black one. I like to trim the end first. I trim the end. They got a nice clean end on it. And then I give myself about 1/4 inch. We twist it, get the right size. Yellow is a little too big. Blue is going to be just right. Insert that into the hole all the way down. There's a stop. There's a little crimp in there. So, you know, do you see how long? See how I have my wire, the right length of that? So get that wire in there. Get the right end for crimping. It would be the second one there. And then crimp it. And then test it. Okay? Pull on it. Make sure you got a good crimp. And then you're going to heat shrink that a little bit, just with a little heat. You don't have to get crazy on it. Be patient. And now you've made a weather tight connector, which means you'll never have any moisture get up in here and corrode your connection. You won't have a voltage drop. You know, you'll have no problem. This is the type of connector, I can't stress that enough. When you were external, where you're getting road salt, grime, moisture, all that stuff, you have to use a connector like that.
All right. Cue the click to verify that your wiring, your plug is connected. Put our bolt back in. We're going to slide our pump all the way back. Make sure none of our fuel lines or our return lines are getting pinched or into this step bracket on the bed. Yeah.
Get that wire loop on there?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that looks pretty, man.
Turned out pretty good. Put a couple zip ties, make sure lines don't move, and then.
You got to make sure that nothing's rubbing on anything?
Yep, nothing's on any sharp edges.
Yeah, it looks good, man. And look how easy that is to change those filters. They're right here. You can put the drip hand, do it yourself. We have a drip hand right here. You can change both your filters. I think he's styling.
Yep.
Love it. Good job, dude.